Hello, is that just me? Professor Angela, we can't hear you anymore. Okay,
I think she went off.
okay. But I think her major messages have been conveyed, and she's also a member of the executive for the Africa Medical Students Consortium, which Dr. Kate had mentioned as a potential engager, but doesn't include all medical schools. But I think we should go on to panel 2. So let me say, over to you. Oh, Doctor, 1 minute. Professor Angela, are you back? Can you? Professor Angela, are you back? Over to you.
Okay, so thank you again for the opportunity. It's quite a privilege to moderate this next session on a topic of great importance. I think that there may be some overlap between this session and what was discussed earlier, but I think that that's also very important and useful, since the issues are so complicated and so interesting. It would be worthwhile to hear the same issues addressed by different panelists. The topic for this session is using AI in healthcare education. And we know that tertiary healthcare education in the past has been skewed against developing countries because of the heavy reliance on textbooks, lecturers, and hands-on clinical rotations, which are all very capital intensive and require huge investments. But with the rapid rise of AI, we have the opportunity maybe to leapfrog some of those issues. However, we know that every opportunity also brings with it a responsibility and challenges. And as we heard from the first panel, I think we need to have serious conversations about how to grapple with some of the serious questions, like how to ensure we protect patient data, to prevent AI biases, and more importantly, to preserve the human essence, the human essence of medicine, which entails compassion, empathy, and ethical judgment. So to reap the benefit of this technology to the fullest extent, we need to have honest conversations about the challenges as well as the opportunities. That's why it is important, to continue this conversation, although some of the topics might have been addressed earlier. So today, in the next session, we have a panel of 2 distinguished experts, Dr. Michael Moneypenny and Ms. Karine Rossan. Dr. Michael Moneypenny serves as the Regional Director in East Africa at the Center for Innovation and Medical Education at Aga Khan University. He is a leader in healthcare simulation since 2009, and he brings extensive expertise in its operational and strategic dimensions. So he will share his experience and knowledge in this important area. Ms. Karine Rossan Omugawanze is a health collaborative manager at the African Leadership University in Kigali, Rwanda. Previously, she served as AGYW project coordinator and health communications specialist at the Alliance for Healthy Communities. So each panelist will be asked to answer pre-assigned questions in about 2 to 3 minutes, and then the other panelists may wish to elaborate on those responses and questions. Once all questions are addressed, we'll open the floor for discussion. So without further ado, our first question goes to Dr. Moneypenny. So given your experience in operational and strategic matters, as well as in health simulation, can you please elaborate on how AI can transform tertiary education in healthcare, especially in African settings?
Thanks, Prof. Thanks for having me along today. Appreciate it. As you said, I think some of the content maybe has been touched on from some of the previous speakers. There's definitely opportunity there in terms of improving how universities themselves work to reduce the paperwork, etc., the workload that everybody gets, administrators, etc. There's something there about helping educators reduce, someone I think said the mundane tasks, but we all know what that is, the setting of exams, the preparatory work before courses, etc. So again, that's the kind of thing AI could help lecturers. But I think probably the most important thing for me is what the AI can do in terms of learners. I think there's the thing there around what we really would like is a one-to-one almost. If you could have a perfect sort of relationship with a learner, it would be a one-to-one relationship, one educator to one learner, which is unachievable in the human sense, but is achievable in the AI sense. I think the AI can help check understanding. I think that's the main thing for me. There was a quote by somebody who says that experts have a lot of knowledge, but that's not correct. Malcolm Gladwell said that what we have is a lot of knowledge and not a lot of understanding. And that's what we need to rectify. We need to make sure that the people who are sent out there into the world until the robots take over, while humans are still being sent out and being trained, they have to have the understanding that is required of them in order to perform good healthcare for people. And so we know the things that work. We know interleaving work, spaced repetition, elaboration, retrieval practice, all these things that the individual instructor does not have the time to check for each individual student. The AI can do those things. I think one final thing before I stop is, and I don't know where it's going to go, but you can imagine learning from home. We talk a lot about people being disadvantaged, being remote, etc. Some of this happens already a little bit, so remote learning, but you could imagine more of that could happen. Why do people need to travel long distances, spend money on accommodation, travel, etc., to go to a university somewhere when actually the majority of that work could be done remotely, and certainly the theoretical aspects of it, and then the practical aspects could be done under supervision in a local hospital or a local clinic. Thanks for the question.
Thank you so much. Very, very insightful. Maybe Ms. Rosan, if you have any additional comments on what has been said.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. On that, I would also add one thing he just mentioned about remote learning. It's something that we do at the African Leadership University. So the hybrid learning, one thing it also helps the tertiary education in the African universities is making it affordable. So if you look at it, the cost it would take a student to move, let's say, to Rwanda, to the LU campus, versus staying at home, let's say Nigeria, and following all the courses online, ensuring we have office hours, as well as having AI as a learning navigator, then it really reduces the cost of attending universities, also increasing our literacy levels on the African continent. So I really believe when AI can be used as a learning co-pilot, as what he said, instead of a one-on-one mentor. And again, I'll use LU as an example, since our students, they take missions, not majors. So having AI, it helps them not to teach content, but to curate their purpose for them to learn other problems that was there before. How can they solve them? They still remain with their critical thinking, but AI, when used correctly, then it can match them to know what, like a literature review of what's happening in other countries as they're working on their missions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosan. Maybe I will ask the next question to you. And turning to the other side of the coin, we heard from the previous panel about some of the issues, the challenges, the ethical issues, and so on. So, in your view, again, wearing your African hat, what are the most common challenges in introducing AI to tertiary institutions, especially if you can focus on such things as curriculum integration, faculty readiness, ethics, and equity in your response? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think this is a really good flow from the earlier conversation and the panelists. There is something they mentioned about equity gaps. So I think that would be the first challenge, depending on how the equity of or the financial ability of some universities. Some might be able then to have better advanced work to do, but then rural institutions, let's say, there's a risk of being left behind unless now there's like a better co-designing of offline AI systems and so on. So on the African continent, not all universities will be able to adapt to the AI and the current design, looking at our infrastructure, our digital literacy, and so forth. So I think that really remains a challenge. Another risk is still plagiarism that can still be detected, but one thing that is being done by some countries, I think, in Rwanda, for instance, our higher education council just released a guideline on AI